Blake Lively's ongoing courtroom feud with director Justin Baldoni has completely unraveled, uncovering a side of her few ever expected to see. What began as a creative disagreement has exploded into a high-stakes legal spectacle, one that exposes a pattern of control, manipulation, and relentless ambition that's now consuming everything in its path. Sources close to the case claim Blake engineered a calculated smear campaign, pressuring attorneys and filing one questionable motion after another, all in an effort to maintain her influence. What was once about reputation has become a full-scale power struggle, driven less by justice and more by pride. It's hard to imagine how the actress who once defined Hollywood charm transformed into a lightning rod of courtroom controversy. By June 2025, her fall from grace was undeniable. This wasn't a moment of misunderstanding, it was a public unraveling fueled by ego, lawsuits, and denial. Her once flawless image now lies buried beneath rejections, reprimands, and headlines that read more like cautionary tales than celebrity news. She's no longer fighting for fairness, she's fighting for relevance, and every move she makes only underscores her desperation. So, how did things spiral so far out of control? It all began with her bitter conflict against Justin Baldoni, the very man she's now portraying as her ultimate antagonist. Instead of resolving things quietly, Blake turned it into a coast-to-coast legal circus. Cases popped up in New York, California, Georgia, any state where a courtroom would hear her name. Subpoenas scattered like confetti, and every judge who presided seemed visibly exhausted by the chaos surrounding the Blake Lively show. Judge Louis J. Lyman, in particular, has faced the brunt of it. According to reports, he's spent countless hours sorting through her relentless filings, denying her third motion to compel within just 1 week. 3 denials in 7 days. Even her paperwork seems to have lost the will to keep up. The judge didn't mince words either. He accused her of turning his courtroom into a spectacle, saying it resembled a media event more than a trial. Instead of proving her case, Blake appeared focused on attention. Every appearance screamed, "Look at me, I still matter." But this isn't Gossip Girl, it's federal court. And when she should have stepped back, she doubled down. She even brought her mysterious company, Zen Incorporated, into the mix, filing a lawsuit with no named defendants. That's right, she sued no one. It wasn't legal strategy, it was chaos disguised as litigation. Through all the confusion, one truth stands out. Blake isn't a misunderstood genius caught in a storm, she's orchestrating one. What the world is watching isn't a comeback, it's a collapse being spun as resilience. Every motion, every filing feels like a desperate attempt to cling to control. She's not defending herself, she's throwing legal spaghetti at the wall, praying something sticks. And just when the courtroom drama wasn't enough, she expanded the battle to the public. During the It Ends With Us premiere, Justin Baldoni's absence sparked questions. Within hours, major outlets like TMZ and Daily Mail published stories portraying Blake as the wronged party. Claims of body shaming, inappropriate behavior, and betrayal filled the headlines. And yet, those leaks seemed a little too perfectly timed to be coincidence. It didn't take long for reports to surface suggesting the leaks originated from her own apartment meetings. Insiders alleged that Blake and her inner circle curated those narratives themselves, feeding the press the very stories that painted her as a victim. When the backlash came, she turned the blame toward Baldoni's team. But at that point, the illusion was shattered. She wasn't the target, she was the one lighting the fire and crying foul when it burned too bright. Her attempts to control the story only grew more bizarre. She allegedly accused Baldoni's own attorney of conspiring against her without evidence, without proof, just speculation fueled by frustration. Meanwhile, her PR team continued to plant stories across tabloids like it was a publicity buffet. Then came the ultimate twist. Blake accused crisis manager Jed Wallace of masterminding a smear campaign. The problem? Wallace wasn't hired until 2 days after the chaos went public. The timeline simply didn't fit. Instead of accepting responsibility, Blake deflected, targeting lawyers, PR representatives, even colleagues, turning accountability into a blame game that no one was buying. But Judge Lyman wasn't fooled. He called out her team for abusing the court system, noting that many filings were made in the wrong jurisdictions and appeared designed to harass rather than seek justice. Blake's legal tactics became a distraction strategy, burying everyone in confusion to divert attention from her own missteps. Every claim of non-compliance seemed crafted to shift the narrative, hoping the noise would drown out the truth. The parallels to other public meltdowns were impossible to ignore. Blake's approach echoed a familiar formula: weaponize sympathy, twist the facts, and paint herself as the wounded heroine. But while others managed composure, Blake's reactions have bordered on unraveling, especially as denial after denial piled up. This isn't a battle for vindication, it's a public breakdown playing out through court filings. And when timelines were finally checked, her story began to collapse. Her amended complaint accused Jed Wallace of launching a smear campaign on August 7, yet records proved he wasn't even hired until August 9, 2 full days later. The narrative fell apart instantly, revealing a truth she couldn't rewrite. Here's the bottom line: if your supposed conspirator wasn't involved until after the chaos began, who are you really blaming? The timeline exposes more than a PR issue, it exposes intent. It shows how Blake twisted dates and documents to fit her own narrative, hoping the public wouldn't notice the inconsistencies. Even her much-touted social combat plan wasn't evidence of a shadow operation, it was a standard $30,000 PR proposal, the kind any public figure might use for online reputation management. The sinister $175,000 version she waved around? It was never purchased, never activated, just an option discussed and declined. Yet she used it as the centerpiece of a conspiracy theory that never existed. From leaked emails to doctored headlines, her narrative was built on smoke and timing. The truth is simple: every supposed proof crumbles under scrutiny. And behind it all, one motivation stands clear: control. Insiders revealed that Blake wanted creative power over It Ends With Us, from casting choices to editing cuts, and even aimed to direct the sequel herself. When Justin Baldoni refused to hand over raw footage, her control slipped, and everything spiraled. Sony may have supported her performance, but ownership of the project rested with Wayfarer, not her. No amount of lawsuits or PR spin could change that. When the system told her no, she tried to use influence, litigation, and publicity to force a yes. What the world witnessed wasn't a fight for creative freedom, it was a power struggle that turned into self-destruction.